Hello student, in our previous video we have started our first chapter of our course, that is a classical mechanics, and our subject code is PHCT 112, and our first chapter is the analytical dynamics, and it is a 2 credit chapter out of 4 credit of our course. And in our previous video we have discussed about the what do you mean by the constraint, examples of the constraint, and also we have also discussed about the different criterias based on the constraint is a classified, that is a whether the constraint is a time dependent or time independent. There are two types of the constraint, that is a scleronomic constraint and rheonomic constraint, and these two types we have covered in our previous video. And the second criteria is the whether they are integrable algebraic relation among the coordinates or non-integrable ones, that is either holonomic or non-holonomic. This is the second criteria, and the remaining two criteria we will discuss in our next videos. So in this video we have to discuss the constraint which are based on the second criteria, that is whether they are integrable algebraic relations or non-integrable ones. So let's start with that. First is the first type is the holonomic constraint. For a constraint to be holonomic, its condition must be expressible as an equation connecting the coordinate of the particles, and if possible time also, that is in the form of equation f of r1 r2 up to so on rn and t which is equal to 0. That means in holonomic constraint the constraint is expressible in the form of equation connecting the coordinates of the particles. We know that for a particular system we require the coordinates to describe the system, either which is a Cartesian coordinate, polar coordinate, spherical polar coordinate, or cylindrical coordinate. So this constraint is known as the holonomic constraint, and which may be expressible in or which is expressible in the form of equations such as f of r1 r2 up to so on rn and t which is equal to 0. So where r1 r2 up to so on rn represent the position vectors of the particle of a system, and t is the time. Suppose we consider the particular system which consists of nth particle, and the position vector of these n particles are r1 r2 r3 r4 up to so on rn, and this constraint must include the time, that is a small t. So this is the holonomic constraint. Hence the holonomic constraint depends only on the coordinates and time. It does not depend on the velocity. It just only depend on the time and coordinates. It does not depend on the velocity. So it is independent of velocity. The example of the holonomic constraints are, that is example of holonomic constraint. Constraints involved in a motion of a rigid bodies, that is Ri minus Rj mod square is equal to Cij square. We know that already we discussed about the rigid body in our previous video. In a rigid body there are different particles, and the distance between these particles remains same or unchanged. So this system, that is a rigid body system, can be expressed in the form of equations. So we can express this system, that is in the form of equation, that is Ri minus Rj mod square is equal to Cij square. Suppose we consider the ith and jth particle in the rigid body system, and suppose we assign a particular position vector for ith and jth particle, that is for the ith particle the position vector is Ri, and for the jth particle the position vector is Rj. And we know that suppose these two particles, that is ith particle and jth particle, and we know that the property in the rigid body, the distance between the particle is same, that is Ri minus Rj mod square is equal to Cij square, that is a Cij, where Cij is the constant and the square of that. So the rigid body can be expressed in the form of this equation. So this is the example of holonomic constraint, where Cij are the constants and Ri and Rj are the position vectors of ith and jth particles. Now the second type is the non-holonomic constraint. If the condition of the constraint cannot be expressed as equation connecting the coordinates of a particle of the system, they are called non-holonomic constraint. In a holonomic constraint, we can express the constraint in the form of the equation, but in case of non-holonomic constraint, the condition is opposite, that is we are not able to express the system or the constraint with the system in the form of equations. So this type of constraint is known as the non-holonomic constraint. The condition of this constraint are expressed in the form of inequalities, but we can express in the form of inequalities. So this is the non-holonomic constraint. The example of non-holonomic constraints are constraint involved in the motion of particle placed on a surface of solid sphere. If we consider the solid sphere and on which there is a motion of the particles, and the particle which is placed on the surface of the solid sphere, then this system with a constraint can be expressed in the form of inequalities, that is r square minus a square, which is greater than 0 or strictly greater than 0, where a is the radius of the sphere. Suppose we take the sphere and the radius of the sphere is the a, and the motion of the particle which is placed on the surface of the sphere. So this system with the constant expressed in the form of inequality. So this is the example of non-holonomic constraint. Constraint on a object rolling on a rough surface without slipping. We know that the rolling motion, and we take a rough surface on which the object is rolling on a rough surface without slipping. There is no slipping. So this is the restriction or the constraint on the system. So this is the type of the non-holonomic constraint. Third example is the constraint involved in the motion of gas molecules in a container, that is r cube is less than equal to a cube. If we consider the gas in a particular container or in a container, and we know that the gas molecules moves here and there, so this type of system with a constant is expressible in the form of, that is r cube is less than equal to a cube. So this is the non-holonomic type constraint. Now these all are the two types of the constraint, that is a holonomic and non-holonomic. But what is the actual difference between the non-holonomic and holonomic constraint? We see with the help of the same example but different condition. So let's see an example to illustrate the difference between the holonomic and non-holonomic constraint. The motion of a particle constrained to lie on the surface of the sphere is subjected to the holonomic constraint. But if the particle is able to fall off the sphere under the influence of gravity, the constraint becomes non-holonomic. The example is the same, that is a particle which is constrained to move on the or to lie on the surface of the sphere, but just this is a considered without taking into account the gravity. So this is the type of the holonomic constraint, because this type of constraint is expressible in the form of equations very easily. But if we consider the influence of the gravity, that is the particle which is lie on the surface of the sphere under the influence of the gravity, then there is another parameters which add due to gravity. So this is the type of the non-holonomic constraint. So this is the common example, but with a different condition it shows the different constraint, that is a holonomic and non-holonomic constraint. So this is all about the holonomic and non-holonomic constraint, which are based on the constraint which are expressible in the form of algebraic equation or in the form of algebraic inequalities. Now the third criteria is the whether they are conservative or dissipative constraint. So depending on that is in the system the mechanical energy is conserved or not conserved. Depending on there are two types of the constraint, that is a conservative or dissipative or non-conservative. So first type is the conservative constraint. If the total mechanical energy of the system remains constant during the constant motion, the constraint is called conservative constraint. That means we know that every system has its energy. So if the total mechanical energy of particular system remains constant throughout the or during the constant motion, then this type of constraint is known as the conservative constraint, and the constant forces do not do any work. That means the work done in the conservative constraint is a 0. Suppose we consider the motion of the particle moves along the particular path, that is from 1 to 2. Suppose we consider the path A, B, and on which the particle is moving. Suppose we take, or if the particle is moving along path AB, and also it again returns to the original position and following the path B to A. So the total work done in this process is a 0. So which is the example of conservative constraint. The second type is the dissipative constraint. If the mechanical energy is not conserved during the constant motion, the constraint is called dissipative constraint. That is a dislike in or opposite case of the conservative constraint is the dissipative constraint. In this type of constraint, there is no conservation of, or there is no conservation of the mechanical energy. So mechanical energy of the system may be changed, or there is a work done in the system. So the mechanical energy is changes due to work done. So these all are the two types of the constraint, that is a conservative and dissipative, which depends on the whether the total mechanical energy of the system is conserved or not. So this is the second criteria. Sorry, this is the third criteria of the constraint. Now the fourth criteria is remaining, and this fourth criteria we will discuss in our next video. So in that video we will continue with the fourth criteria of the constraint.